I just woke up again. I looked at my mobile phone to look at the time, and it's 3:33. And all day long I've been seeing this number everywhere. Even when I watched Socks with Sandals video on Clifton, Hampden. He got 3.33 subscribers, and he had 33 comments on that thing when I looked at it. It's really strange. Anyway, I thought, right, okay, so the point is of waking up around 3 o'clock in the morning is that you're being given a message from, I know some of you won't want to hear this, but it's a message from God. Now, I make the distinction between the God of the Old Testament and the God of the New Testament, because when you look at the Old Testament, you realise that the God there is a jealous God. Now, if that was a divine source, the divine creator, why would he be jealous? So the God of the Old Testament to me is Lucifer, because the divine source, the divine creator, who hasn't actually got a name because he's too big, too everything, too all everywhere. So how can you name that? You can't really, can you? So that's why I'm very careful when I use the word God. The original, first one, through Lucifer, his favourite angel, out of the heavens and down to the earth. And the earth became his playground. And remember, even in the New Testament, when Jesus was tempted by the devil, or Lucifer, whatever his name was then, said to Jesus, in the Bible it says this, okay, I can give you all of this, meaning all of the kingdom of earth, if you just follow me, or something like that. I haven't got the Bible in front of me, so I can't really see what he actually said, and I'm not very good at recounting verses. But I thought, right, if there's a message in this, waking up at 3:33 and having this number thrown at me all day long and forever, it feels. It always followed my dad around too, number 33. So I thought, let me turn my heater up a bit, 'cause it's a bit chilly. I thought, let's look at the Bible and see what the message is. Before I went to the Bible, I thought, I'll go onto YouTube. Before I went on there, I said, divine source, divine creator, Christ, Holy Spirit. I'm not very good at this, as you may tell. But I do have this spirit of, I don't know what it is, but it's inside me and it's been with me all the time. I said, give me a message, but make it a tangible one, because I can't get these subtle messages that you give me, like waking up at 3:33 in the morning. What does it mean? Tell me, because I'm a bit dumb. So I went onto YouTube and I saw the first video, which was Tony Robbins, and you know what his title said? Unleash the power within. And I thought, I've done that course and it hasn't made any difference. And every time I think positive, everything goes to ratchet. Every time I think negative, it goes okay. I don't know why that is, but something's happening in my life that's not quite right. And then I scrolled down a little bit, and this Psalm 91 kept popped up, and it was really in my face. So I thought, I'll listen to it. And it was a prayer to protect me. I have been worried of late with everything that's been going on. All the people that have been surrounding me that haven't been very benevolent. But I'll read you this psalm because it is reassuring. It's quite a long one. It's got 16 16 verses, okay? But we'll read through it very slowly. Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will serve the Lord. He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In him I will trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by the night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that was wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in thy hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under the feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Do you know what that means? And it says, thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet. It's a prayer of protection. It's a prayer that says, if you follow God, and you are devout in that following, and trust and have faith in that, then nothing will harm you. Anything that is going on in this physical world around you will just not hurt you. I needed that reassurance. See, I asked for clarification. I said, if I'm going to wake up at this time every morning, please just tell me why. Give me it in a language I can understand. Not some subtle hint or a metaphor or a dream. A subtle hint comes along and I think, what was that about? And it just goes. A metaphor comes along. A story that is like something that could be in your life or could be applied to your life. But your brain has to go on a hunt to understand it. Okay, your brain's a problem-solving machine and it's designed to figure things out if you give it a question. But I get tired of doing that. I get those things every day of the week. And it's really perplexing. Sometimes I think, I just want to give up. When I said to the originator of everything, who hasn't got a name, really, give me a message I can understand, and let me find it through this platform, that prayer came up. Okay, so I am protected, and I have been. Obviously, I've been making some foolish decisions and not really paying attention to the signs that I don't really understand going on about me. But overall, I have been protected. I keep worrying about things. I keep thinking, okay, what am I going to do when money runs out, or when I'm kicked off this place, or when my van is parked, or where am I going to get water from? How am I going to get rid of my ablutions, or how am I going to, feed myself or keep myself warm in the winter? All those questions come up all the time to me. And then I think, it doesn't matter. In the end, something always turns up. My nan always used to say that to me. When you're going through hard times, when things just don't go your way, when things keep batting you down and making you feel so awful inside, because life has a habit of doing that, really. And I used to think, oh, perhaps I'm being burnished into shape, like, one of those rocks on the seashore. They're battered by the waves, aren't they? And they end up being beautiful shapes. I think, okay, so that's me. I'm the rock in the ocean. Sometimes, though, I want to be the waves. I want to be able to be the water that flows everywhere, around everything, and is teeming with life, energy, force. I don't want to be the rock all the time. See, this is a metaphor. One of the metaphors I had to struggle to understand, but in the end I did. If you're the rock, you're solid, you're dependable, you're there. You provide a place for people to rest within when the stormy seas come about, bashing the rock, pushing against it, splashing it, and yet it still stays still. But there are times when the ocean is calm. It's beautiful, it's glistening with diamonds, tiny diamonds of light, reflected by the sun. And it's those times that I want to not be the rock. I want to be that ocean. I want to get out into the sea, be free. I'll be free of harm too. And what my nan said is true. Something does turn up in the end all the time. You go through a load of shit and you come out of it. You learn a lesson and then you have a bit of respite, a rest, some peace. And when I read that prayer, it gives me kind of peace in my heart, because I have been protected all the way through. Something has always turned up. Now, some people may not have a belief in God or an afterlife or any kind of subtle form of energy or spiritual sense. That's fine. That's okay. We're all human. We're all here to experience something. You don't really have to follow any kind of religion to know that this massive force of power, this subtle, gentle sensation of energy, this spirit, exists. And I listen to atheists, the people who don't believe in a God. And I can understand where they're coming from, because we're so entrapped in this physical being, this form, this body that we're in, and the things that are around us. We look at all the solidity of everything, the visual beauty and ugliness of everything. We rely very much on our physical senses in order to get in touch with that. But then you go down to the atomic level and you find that none of it is solid. Even the brick wall that you face, at the atomic level, the cellular level, everything that it's made up of is fluid and moving, and it's like it's as similar to the stars in the sky. You look up at them and you think, wow, there are millions of those little lights up there. Too many for us to count. And yet it feels so solid, because it's our perception. And you think about Nikola Tesla and Einstein and all these popular scientists. You think of what they discovered, and they are just theories. It's a theory of relativity. I'm not too sure about Tesla. I think he actually physically demonstrated it and built things that conducted electricity that was available to everybody freely. Soon put paid to that, didn't they? And I think if you cannot believe that something exists outside of you, and you just feel as though you are only this physical body, then ask yourself, what animates you? What is that consciousness? Where do those thoughts come from? Certainly don't come from within your head. I mean, how can a lump of meat that's 3 pounds in weight, and when you split it open and look inside it, it's just a lump of jelly? How can that think all these words? How can it make sense of anything? There must be a spirit inside. Consciousness comes from somewhere outside of this body. And if that's the case, who or what is doing that? People say that you can believe in Christ, Jesus as a man. You can believe that he was a child born in a manger, You can believe that he grew up and learnt all these different things from wise men, travelled over to the east to learn their practices, and many of the things that he actually said do come from that region. And the fact that he spoke in parables and metaphors and stories was so that people would remember them. If you explain something to somebody, they don't really take it all in, do they? But they remember a story. And as I said before, the brain does go on a fact-finding, problem-solving mission when you give it a question or something it doesn't quite understand. It either goes on a search for the answer or it gives up. And I think that atheists have just given up. People who don't believe in a greater force outside of themselves, like God or a divine source, divine creator of everything. I think that they've just stopped searching and accepted what they are rather than who they are. And I think that's sad. I mean, there may have been a time when religion was shoved down their throats to the point that they felt sick with it. I can understand that too, because the Catholic religion tends to do that to people, doesn't it? It's a shame, really. How can an organisation such as a faith-based religion that is meant to help you love God do the exact opposite? How can it do that to people? Why does it even put forward the notion that in order to get in touch with the divine, you have to go through another human being, like a priest, like the Pope, Cardinal, Bishop, whatever? You have to have that person, that man, interpret what love is, basically. Another thing I don't quite believe in is the notion of a Big Bang. How can something come from nothing? Something has to exist in order for something to come about. And if you have a Big Bang, then something existed before that bang went off. So I don't quite believe that. I don't quite accept that. What I have learned is that this force of creation is a subtle thought. You know, the Bible says that in the beginning there was a word. That's what it was. A thought. A very quiet thought. And then out of that, things became things. Just very subtly began forming into shapes. It may have taken millions of what we know as years, or it may have happened in a fraction of a second. No one knows. Just like nobody actually knows how many stars are up in the sky. It's just a mathematical theory. How can you tell what a black hole is if you've never actually been there, never seen it? It's just all done through maths. That drove me crazy when I first heard of that. I thought, how on earth can you figure out what's up in the sky by a series of numbers? It just makes no sense to me. Perhaps you can enlighten me. I look upon this earth as a classroom. We're all here to experience something, where we learn lessons about how to handle things, how to be, how to love, or not love. I don't know why or how I even started. I've always said prayers for myself, or for someone else, or for the world. All throughout my life I've always thought that the vast majority of people that live on this earth are good. They want to be kind. They want to do right. They have a will inside of them to be benevolent, to support each other. I mean, you think of any natural disaster. Of course there are those who take advantage. But the vast majority of those people, their heart reaches out and they want to help in whatever way they can. Not everybody can be a physical hero and get in there and muck in and get right down and dirty and physically move things like they are in Turkey, moving all those rocks and buildings away from those people and animals that are trapped beneath. Others try to do other things, like give money in order to help those efforts carry on, or to help the people who have lost everything build back their lives. But then there are the nasty ones too who steal that, take advantage of that benevolence. Like, I remember the time when the devastation in Nepal happened. It was awful. A few years ago now. And the world gave of their physical labour and their money as well. Any funds they had, they sent. Any things they had, like blankets and food and water, they sent over there to go to help the people who need it most. But what did the government do? They stole it. Just like that time in the Philippines, or Thailand, wasn't it, when they were devastated there, weren't they? That was a few years before it. And what did the government do with the donations there? They stole that. And they, instead of giving the funds which were intended for the people who needed it the most to build back their lives, what the government did was build a load of hotels with that money. So, what did the Nepalese people do? I was working for the army at the time, and those brave soldiers, they are very brave. I have a lot of respect for them. They gathered together all that they could. They organised themselves. They gathered donations, not just in money, but blankets and food and water and all things that people need to survive with and have a little bit of comfort with. Toys for children, you know. They gathered it all together, and between them they organised to pack it all up in boxes or in suitcases or in bags, and they booked flights back home in groups, and they took it back with them and they gave it to the people. That to me was such a breath of fresh air. I was so impressed. And that's what we need to do. We need to give it to an honourable group of people who will take it directly to the source. Bypass all these government agencies which are proved that they're corrupt, all of them. And I think we all need to sit up and do something about it. Well, my question is, why are they still in power after everything has been revealed that they are so corrupt? Everything that you would think is a dishonour to humankind, they are. Yeah, I feel like going down to the Houses of Parliament and just standing there and saying, I call upon the persons present here and the ones who are not present, who are working under the label of Member of Parliament or Prime Minister, and I effectively call you, as of this moment, to be dismissed, and then to face a trial by jury through the common law for the crimes that you have committed against humanity. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Somebody could do that. If somebody doesn't do it soon, then I sure will. You see, I don't feel as though I have that power within that Tony Robbins wants you to unleash. I don't feel as though I have that protection from the Lord, the divine source, the divine creator, this ethereal being that created everything and everyone. And yet, I have. Anyway, I'm going to go to sleep now because I've got to get up early in the morning.